Hi guys, I know it's been a whole 2 days since my last video, but I decided just to do a real quick wrap up and review of 2015 because I did my plans, but I didn't do a review, so I'm just gonna do a real quick review. Um, 2015 was a decent stitching year. I've had better years. I've had worse years. I've had a few years where I haven't stitched at all, so it was a decent year. Um, I had 4 finishes. I had 2 FFOs. I had 6 starts. And I made progress on a couple of other things. So, well, let's start with the FFOs. And the first FFO um, was a start and a finish and an FFO, which is Strawberry Fields Forever. Sorry about the glare. Um, but I've shown this design a zillion times. So um, I started this in March and I finished it in June, and I got it framed at the end of July. Or I picked it up from the framer at the end of July. So this is Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs. It's part of the Magical Mystery Tour series based on the Beatles. And I had it framed here locally at a private framer who does a lot of needlework, and I think he gets a lot of business from the EGA chapter that I used to belong to, and the other local needlework and embroidery guilds here. So, very, very good framer. He's awesome. And then my other FFO, which was the one I was way excited about, is a piece that I finished in 2013. And I decided as long as I was taking Strawberry Fields to the framer, I would take him too. So, this is Magic in Motion. And this is my other FFO. And he's not hanging yet. He's still sitting here against the TV cabinet. But I love him. So that was my other FFO. Not cheap, but well worth the money to have it done right. So there was my 2 FFOs. Yeah. So then I had 4 finishes, and my first finish was Bluebell. I finished her in March. I finished her on March 22nd. I started her in 2013. And this is by Nora Corbett, of course. And I stitched her on what I'm sure is a 28 count piece of linen. And it's a hand dye by the old blended needle from the early 2000s. Before Michelle Sayeda owned Heaven and Earth Designs, she owned the blended needle. And this is from there. And it's called, I think it was called Parchment or Days Gone By or something. It's supposed to look like old, it's supposed to look old and aged. Maybe it did when I first bought it. I don't know. I've had it for many years. But now it just mostly looks white with a few spots of yellow on it. So that is Bluebell. And what happened to the blended needle is that Michelle sold it, and the couple that bought it from her ran it for a little while, and something happened. They had some sort of family emergency or something happened, and it just seemed like they sort of abandoned it. It just disappeared. So that was the end of the blended needle. The next thing that I started was Strawberry Fields, and I started this on March 24th, right after I finished Bluebell, and I finished this on June 22nd or June 24th, and Blackbird Designs, and I stitched it on the called for fabrics with the called for Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works. So that was my second finish. And then I started Dragonfly Fantasy in the middle of July. I started that on my birthday, I think. And I finished that at the end of August on my mom's birthday. And I will insert a picture of it here because it's at work, so I don't have it here to show. But that was an old kit by Dimensions. So I will insert that here. And then my last finish, which you just saw recently, was the Santa Claus by Dimensions Daydreams. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, we'll talk about that. So, I showed this in my November update, but I'm going to point out, as long as I have them back out, that I made a change. If you go back and you look at my November video, you probably hardly noticed his glasses. And I was trying to figure out, why can you not see his glasses? Because in the cover pic, they're very, very noticeable. And so I went back and I looked, and I had done them in the wrong color. So after I did the video, I went back and fixed it. And so I did his glasses in the right color. And I had sort of intended to FFO him. I did not do that. So he's not an FFO, but he is a finish. So those are my 4 finishes for the year. I think I counted 6 starts. Bluebell was not a start because I had started her in 2013. But I started Strawberry Fields. I started Dragonfly Fantasy. I started in the summer issue 231 of World of Cross Stitch came out with the Blackwork Hummingbird that everybody went crazy over. And so I started that. And there's my progress on that. I started this little piece here. This little Millhill squirrel as part of a stitch along with Cross Stitch and Discuss. And whoops, I really only worked on him for one day. Here, let me pick this up. I really only worked on him for one day. So that was one of my starts. I started Santa, and then I started on Christmas Day. I started His Eyes on the Sparrow by the Heartstring Samplery. And you just saw this if you watched my December update. You just saw this, but there's my microscopic progress on that. So those are my starts, FFOs, finishes, starts, and then I made a little bit of progress on some existing whips. Well, I made a lot of progress on some. This is a piece that you've been seeing through a lot of the year. This is the one that I made the most progress on of my existing whips, which is, of course, Mains of the Seasons. I made a lot of progress on that. I did all of, or almost all of Spring's Skirt, and I did all of Brown Border, and I started on Summer's Dress, That's by far the one that I made the most progress on. And then, thanks to my, where is it? Did I not bring it? Oh, it's over here. Thanks to my Stitch Along with Mackenzie, I made a little bit of progress on Quaker Game Board. I finished the inside border and made some progress on the outside border. And I don't have it here, but I think I made a little bit of progress on Trade Winds. I think I worked on the mermaid for a day or 2 or 3. I think I made a little bit of progress on her. And she didn't make it into my plans for 2016, oddly enough. Maybe I'll pick her up. I also made a little bit of progress on Flower Bride. Not a lot. I think I probably put like 30 stitches into her. I didn't do a lot. And I retired one piece. I retired Legends of the Dragons because the fabric wasn't big enough. Which was kind of sad because that was the piece at the beginning of 2015. I said, this is the piece that I want to finish this year. No. So I'll have to restart it at some point. 2016 will not be that point because I still want to stitch it. I still want to finish it, but I'm going to have to restart it at some point. So for 2015, I had 2 FFOs. I had 4 finishes. I started 6 pieces and finished 3 of those. And I stitched on a total of 11 pieces all year. So, not bad. I've had worse years. So, that was my 2015. Really quick 2016 plans. If you want the details, it's in a video down there. Go watch it if you haven't already. Really quick though, because I'm not going to rehash all of this again. But for 2016, I want to finish Mains of the Seasons. I want to finish Blackbird Hummingbird. I want to finish Quaker Game Board. I would like to finish His Eye is on the Sparrow. I don't really think that's going to happen. And I have some smaller pieces that I want to stitch up. I have 12 of those, and I'd like to get through 12 of them. Who knows? I might get through 6. I might get through 15. The first one is going to be Bent Creek Summer Arches. So, there's the summary of my 2016 plans. If you want all the details and all the pictures, go check out the video. So, happy 2016, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye.